Hi, welcome to video number 28 of the SQL Learning series where we are going to learn SQL by solving coding challenges. There is a link in the description. You can use that to land in this page. And on this page, make sure you have checked solved, unsolved, and SQL basic. Okay. Today we are going to solve the blunder. So open it. All right. So what is the blunder? Here we have a table called employees with three fields: ID, name, and salary. So here the average salary is calculated using salaries with zeros removed. And our task is to find the difference between the actual average salary and the average of salary with zeros removed. Okay, so let's do that. All right, tell me, how do we find the actual average salary? We can use the average function to find the actual average salary. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. We can use the average function and the field name is salary. The table name is employees. Okay. Run the code. And here you can see the actual average salary. Okay. Next, I'm going to show you both salary and salary with zeros removed. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an intermediate result and create two fields. Oh, okay. I want to show you both salary and salary with zeros removed. So let's see. So I'm going to call this result blunder. And I want to show you both salary and salary with zeros removed. Okay. The table name is employees. Okay. Now tell me, how do we remove zeros from the salary field? You can see the salary field here. You can see some zeros in the salary, right? And we want to remove it. How do we do that? In MySQL, we have the replace function. Okay, we can use the replace function to remove the zeros from the salary field. So first of all, so how does the replace function work? See, the replace function takes three values as input. The first value, it is the string itself. Okay, the second value, it is the part you want to replace, and the third value is the part you want to replace with. Okay, but we have a problem here. The replace function is a string function and it expects a string as an input. Okay, in our case, we have salary, which is an integer field. So we have to convert the type of salary from integer to a string. How do we do that? In MySQL, we have two options. One is to use the convert function. Okay, we can use the convert function to convert a value into the specified data type or character set. Okay, so you can see the data types here. The next option, it is to use the cast function. Okay, the cast function converts a value of any type into the specified data type. And I'm going to use the cast function. Okay, you can see the syntax here and the data type here. In our case, we want to convert an integer value to a string. Okay, so we can use the character data type. All right, so I'm going to use the replace function. Inside the replace function, I'm going to use the cast function because the salary field is an integer and I want string. Okay, I want string inside the replace function. So I'm going to cast this salary as a string. Okay. All right. Next, I'm going to pass the part I want to replace. Okay. In this case, I want to replace the zeros and I'm going to replace the zeros with an empty string. Okay. So in effect, we are removing the zeros. All right. I'm going to call this field mistake. Okay. That's it. Let's see the output. Select star from Blunder. Okay, run the code. And here is it. You can see both salary and salary with zeros removed. Okay, now that we have this result, we can use this to calculate the average and compute the difference. Okay, so let's do that. So put a comma here, create another intermediate result. I'm going to call this result difference. Okay. And here I'm going to calculate the actual average salary. So I can use the average function and the field is salary. Okay. Great. Next, we can use the average function again to calculate the average of salary with zeros removed. And we have that available in this field mistake. Okay. So mistake and the table name. Here, we are going to query from the intermediate result Blunder. So we can specify that here. Okay, but wait. The average function is a numerical function. Okay, so over here, you can see the average function expects a numerical value as an input. Okay, in our case, we have mistake the salary with zeros removed, and it is a string. Okay, we cast the string. We cast the salary as a string to use it inside the replace function. And replace function is a string function, and it gives us output a string. Okay, so here we have string here. So we have to convert the data type from string to an integer. Okay, so once again, we can use the cast function. Okay, and for the data type, we have two options. One option is to use the signed integer. The second option is to use the unsigned integer. Both will give us a 64-bit integer. Okay, so what is the difference? What is the difference between a signed integer and an unsigned integer? So here is it. A signed integer ranges from -2 billion to +2 billion. Okay, whereas an unsigned integer ranges from 0 to 4 billion. Okay, the positive numbers. In our case, we are dealing with positive numbers. Okay, the field is salary, so it is positive. So we can use unsigned integer. Okay, so I'm going to use the cast function here, and I'm going to cast the mistake as an unsigned integer. Okay, and I'm going to call this field as diff. Okay, you can give any alias you like. I just put this. Okay, all right. So I think everything is correct. So we can see the output. Let's query the difference. Okay, run the code. And here is it. You can see the difference between the actual average salary and the average of salary with zeros removed. Okay, so if it is the difference, if it is the answer, why are we not yet done? Why is it still saying wrong answer? So scroll up over here. You can read this. To complete this challenge, you have to round the output to the next integer. Okay, round it up to the next integer. We don't want floating point number here. We want 2253 as output. Okay, we want to round it up to the next integer. So how do we do that? In MySQL, we have the ceiling function. Okay, the ceiling function returns the smallest integer value that is greater than or equal to the input value. Okay, so we can use that here. We can use the ceiling function, and the field name is diff. Okay, run the code, and here is the output. So we are done. You can see the correct answer is here. All right, next I want to show you an alternative. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this, and over here I'm going to show you another alternative. Okay, actually we can solve this problem in a single line of code. Okay, so here is it. We know we have to use the ceiling function. So the ceiling function forms the outermost function, and the table name is employees. Okay, inside the ceiling function, we can calculate the average and compute the difference. So I'm going to use the average function and calculate the actual average salary. Here, the field name is salary, and that's it. Next, I'm going to use the average function again and calculate the average of salary with zeros removed. Okay, so we can use the replace function, and the first argument is the salary field. The second argument is the part we want to replace, and in this case, I want to replace the zeros. And the third argument is the part we want to replace with. So here I'm going to pass an empty string. So in effect, we will remove the zeros. Okay, so that's it. But wait, over here, I told you the replace function is a string function and it expects a string. So we have to cast the salary, which is an integer field, to a string. Okay. Yes. The reason why I went this way first is because in real world, you often have to work with difficult data. Okay. And in such situations, you have to create intermediate results like this and work your way up. Okay. So this is going to help you in the future. But to solve this problem here, surprisingly, this is enough. Okay. So here is an alternative. Okay. Let's run the code. And you can see the output. Okay, that's it. Next, I want to show you one more alternative. Okay, so I'm going to comment this. And over here, I want to show you a solution using regular expression. Okay, so instead of replace, we can use regular expression replace. Okay, that's it. The syntax is the same. So let me show you the documentation. So the regular expression replace is a string function and it replaces substring matching the regular expression. So if you look inside the documentation, you can see some examples as well. Okay, in our case, we are done because the syntax is the same. So we can run the code and you can see the output. Okay, so that's it. This is how we solve this problem, and see you in the next video. Bye.